In section 1.9, we deal with multiplying and dividing integers. Remember that when we do this, that when we multiply and divide with signed numbers, if the signs are both positive or both negative, then we end up with a positive. If the signs are different, one is positive and one is negative, we end up with a negative. 2 and 3, they want us to write this addition problem as a multiplication. So this is -1 or -9, and there's 4 of them. So it's 4 times -9, which would be -36, because 4 times 9 is negative. Negative times a positive is a negative. Here we have -5, 1. There are 5 of them. So 5 times -5, and that would be -25. Number 4, the weather temperature dropped 5 degrees each hour for 7 hours. Use the integers to represent the total change. So it dropped, that's a -5 degrees for every hour for 7 hours. So it's going to be 7 times -5 or -35 degrees is how much it dropped. And then we jumped to the next section, which is just simplifying the product. So again, 4 times 11 is 44. Positive times a negative is a negative. 5 times 10 is 50, and it's going to be negative because the 5 is positive and the 10 is negative. 15 times 2 is 30, and it will be negative, again, because we have a positive and a negative. 24 times 3, think days. 3 days is 72 hours. And it's going to be negative because we have a positive and a negative. Number 14, we have a negative and a negative. That's going to end up being positive. 16, anything times 0 is 0. It does not have a sign. 18, we would have 0 times -12, which would be 0, times 4, which would be 0. When we hit 20, we're doing division or quotients, but the rule is the same. If we have a positive, which this one is positive, and a negative, we end up with a negative answer. So that's going to be a 1, a -1, because 24 divided by 24 is 1. 120 divided by 12 is 10. It'll go in 12, so you get the 10 there. And the only difference between these two numbers is that 0, which we would get if we took 12 times 10, and it will be negative because that's negative and the 12 is positive. 72 divided by 12 is 6, and it will be negative because the 72 is negative and the 12 is positive. 38 divided by 4 or by 2 is 19. So they're both negative, so it will be, the answer will be positive. And then 33 divided by 11 is 3, but it will be negative because the 33 is negative and the 11 is positive. When we hit number 30, they want us to find the average. And to find average, you have to add the numbers. So we have 10 plus a -5 plus 7 plus 9 plus a -11. So some of these are negative. So let's go through. 10 plus a -5 is 5. 5 plus 7 is 12. 12 plus 9 is 21. And now we have 21 plus a -11. The signs are different. So we subtract and we keep the sign of the larger. So we get 10. And then once we've added, we divide by the number of terms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 of them. So the average is 2. You cannot just have 2 written down. You need to have the actual process, show your addition here, what you did in each step, and then your division. And let me clear this and make room for number 32. Okay, in 32, we have bank balances, and I missed one, of 325. Let me move that. I missed one of the numbers when I wrote them all down. Of 325, a -150, a +130, a +200, and a or a negative 45. So we're just going to go through from left to right. So 325 plus a negative 150. So the signs are different. So I need to subtract. So that's going to be 175, and it will be positive. And then I'm going to do my next two. And these two I can do in my head. 5, 3, and 7 is 10. Carry the 1, so it's going to be 305. If you can't do it in your head, then write it out longhand and do it. 305 plus 200, they're both positive. So it's going to be 505. And then finally, 505 plus a negative 45, we're going to need to subtract. Oops, I'm not borrowing there. I'm borrowing here. 10 minus 4 is 6, so we get 460. And then we need to take our 460 and divide it by the number of numbers. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 45, 10, and it'll go in 2 times. So we end up with $92 as our average. So again, show your process in your addition and your division there. And then 51 and 53, they wanted you to put in a greater than, less than, or equal to sign. So to do these, you have to actually calculate each side. Negative 9 times negative 6 is positive 54. The signs are the same, so it's positive. 8 times negative 10 is negative 80. So negative 80 is less than 54 because it's a negative and the 54 is positive. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 is positive 5. 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. And this one is positive because a negative times a negative is a positive. This one is negative because a positive divided by a negative is negative. And so same direction for the inequality there.